Welcome back. Two female correction officers have found themselves on the wrong side of the law after they were allegedly found in possession of suspected marijuana. In a joint effort, officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit along with officers from the Department of Corrections seized a quantity of suspected marijuana found in a vehicle at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Police reports indicate that on Tuesday, shortly after 10 p.m., officers acting on intelligence searched a black Honda Civic at the Bahamas Department of Corrections where the discovery was made. The suspected marijuana has an estimated street value of $700. Police investigations continue. The Bahamas Customs Department is expected to undergo extensive modernization following a commitment from the Ministry of Finance. Financial Secretary Simon Wilson highlights plans for the department.
In addition, we want to introduce what we call financial analysts or tax analysts to support the work of the customs officers, especially in the Family Islands, where customs officers now perform non-revenue-related duties, administration duties, with a lack of support. Plus, we have a plan to upgrade the physical infrastructure of the Customs Department, all their buildings throughout the land and brand of the Bahamas. We started first with the K9 unit, to upgrade the K9 unit, and hopefully soon we will start the renovation of this building, which is the headquarters of the Customs Department. These are significant investments because we understand the importance of customs with revenue collection.
Mr. Wilson notes that there have also been special units added to the department to improve revenue enhancement and its efficiency.
We have a unit in the Ministry of Finance, a national targeting center in the Ministry of Finance, which will have customs officers always a part of that function. We have a unit, a revenue enhancement unit with customs, which is also a special unit, which deals with revenue investigation, high revenue matters. That's in place now, and that's stationed on Carmichael Road in Courtesy House. And then we also have a large taxpayer unit, where customs officers will be dedicated to service our largest taxpayers. That unit has just started. All these things are to enhance the ability of the department to collect revenue. So it's not just the ranking, how should I put it, the standard operating procedure. We are evolving and changing.
Existing units such as the K9 unit will also be improved in terms of drug interdiction, currency smuggling, and goods smuggling. There are also plans to modernize the Click-to-Clear platform and the Exempt app. Meanwhile, the Customs Department has seen a 90% increase in revenue at the airport since the introduction of the Customs Exempt app. This coming from Financial Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Simon Wilson, while at the Customs induction ceremony on Monday. The app was made mandatory in June of 2023 and has done away with the manual declaration process for travelers entering the country. Following the announcement of the app, many Bahamians were complaining about its usability, particularly among the elderly and those without smartphones. Mr. Simon Wilson says they have addressed those issues.
Since the app has been introduced, we have over 100,000 persons who have downloaded and used the app successfully. I think originally there was some issues with persons who don't have a smartphone, elderly persons, and so forth. I think we resolved those issues and we managed those issues. But the app itself is a success. The app is developed by a local Bahamian company. I think it's one of our successes here.
Besides customs declarations, travelers can also secure your passports digitally on the app, calculate your duty, track your past exemptions, create a shopping list for C-17 forms, track your flights, and search thousands of customs duty rates and tariffs. Although the app is deemed a success, Mr. Wilson says there is still room for improvements.
The app has to keep improving. We want to do more. One of the things we want to do is we call a simplified declaration, which makes it easier for importers to be able to do their own declaration as opposed to going to a broker. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if you buy a car, you should be able to go online and put the information in and boom, pay customs. If you're doing small transactions without going to a broker to say, I need your help for a car or so forth. So we work on a simplified declaration, which will make it a lot easier for individuals to import goods.
Although Mr. Wilson gave no timeline for the upgrade, he has hopes it will be implemented very soon. Following the 17th Caribbean Week of Agriculture held at Super Club's Breezes, Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Jomo Campbell says he has plans to ask the government for a budget increase for his ministry. Throughout the week, Bahamian vendors were featured in a trade show and expo with authentic Caribbean products. However, most of the vendors are home-based, which hinders their production efforts. Minister Campbell says increased funding is necessary.
And it's something it's not just specific to me. Every minister wants their budget increase because everyone feels as though their ministry is key and important. But what came out of this session that will justify my request for an increase in our budget for agriculture is the fact that agriculture touches every aspect of life. As a matter of fact, agriculture was the first source of employment for mankind. It was the first job. The first thing persons did on this earth was grow food to eat and live. And so we had a prime example just a few weeks ago at Columbus Primary. The Minister of Education and the Prime Minister launched the breakfast program. And students and the teachers were excited. And the students were excited and attentive all day because they had a healthy lunch. And we now realize that, like I said before, even our athletes, we require the best food. So I told my ministerial colleague even as early as this morning, the Minister for Youth, Sports and Culture who's presently in Grand Bahama, when I come to Cabinet and I ask for an increase in our budget, I definitely expect his support.
He maintains that there is so much more that can be done with the industry in the country that plays such a significant role in how we live.
Food is in fact life, and all ministries are built up by the persons who sustain and facilitate these ministries. And if they aren't eating the proper food, then how are we going to get the maximum output from them? So why should we limit ourselves in the vision for agriculture? Why can't we have an agriculture academy set up by Gladstone Road? 5 years ago, perhaps even as far as 10 years ago, we had what is there now, the farmers market. Nothing is wrong for it, but why hasn't it grown? If we realize that food security is a major issue, if we know that climate change is indeed a major issue, our Prime Minister goes all over the world and has been a very outspoken proponent for climate change and for the world to recognize what it is they're doing. So the world will ask of us, well, what is it that you're doing? So we have to show them that we want to lead by our own example, and the best way to do it is to let our actions speak for us.
Minister Campbell says this is all in an effort to transform the country's food security system. And finally, from the WNBA once more, Jonquel Jones and the New York Liberty will play another game tonight with their back against the wall when they face the defending WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces in Game 4 of their best-of-5 championship series. In a do-or-die game for Jonquel and the Liberty tonight, the Aces lead that series 2-1. An 87-73 victory in Game 3 on Sunday, Jonquel led the Liberty with 27 points, 8 rebounds, shooting 10 of 15 from the field, including 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Game 4 set for tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Jonquel and the Liberty will look to force a decisive Game 5 on Friday night. That'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.